Right folks, hello, welcome back to the plot. Now today I mean business. There's no joking around, laughing at myself, giggling at my tomatoes for 5 minutes. We're here for a quick job because, well, quick job. I'm here for a job that we're gonna try and do as quick as possible. It's a bit miserable, very grey, quite rainy, but I've got the water butt outside the Polytunnel and I've got that irrigation system. I remember to bring it up today. So first thing I need to do is actually fill this up. Now this is only a little water butt. I actually have some bigger ones which might be better for this. But, I don't have any rain collection on the Polytunnel. I know you do get it sometimes. People put these kind of adhesive strips on the edge of their Polytunnel, which I might do at some point, but for now, I'm just gonna test the system, see if it works. So first I've got to get a bit of water in here, and if this works, I can scale it up by just putting more water butts, to be honest, which are connected into that main one, which can then act as a feeder, which will hopefully irrigate this in-ground bed on the left here. This is all gonna be irrigated via pots. I've got a little reservoir there that I'm probably going to need to upgrade, to be honest, if I get this all kind of upgraded with auto pots as time goes on. But today we're just going to focus on seeing if the system works, and then I've got other jobs to do if I've still got time. Now, unfortunately, I've just got to do this by hand. I could get the tap rigged up, but to be honest, it would probably take more time than just doing a few cans by hand. I think I found this water butt just on this allotment. Whoops. I need to check that tap is off as well. Yes, very good, it is. So yeah, give me a minute. I'm just gonna fill it up kind of halfway and then we'll test and see whether or not this actually works. I've just got it filled with about 60 litres. I think this is quite small. I think it's only about 150 litres in total. And I know, like, this is just a super quick and dirty. This is just a trial. I know if you want a proper irrigation system, there are hundreds of thousands of improvements that could be made to this. This isn't, this is barely even automated because I have to manually fill this every time it empties. But like I say, I just want to try, and it's the first kind of step in this process. The main reason that I wanted to set up some automation in this tunnel is just because of the heat in here in summer. It's going to become borderline unbearable. I'm going to face a bit of a challenge leaving the doors open overnight and throughout the middle of the day because of the foxes. If I leave it, I think the foxes are going to come and try and rip open the skin of the tunnel again. They really love to batter on it. I will probably put some chicken wire across the bottom and just have really good ventilation. But even with both doors open in the heat of the day, I mean, it's only May and there have been some scorchers in there. So getting really well watered ground, I think will just help with the humidity and that kind of stuff. But let's get the kit out. Now I bought this with my own money, a recommendation from one of my patrons actually, Dorcasaur. Actually, they said they had this on their allotment and it was perfect. Now I've spent a little while I've had my ear to the ground looking for sort of an allotment solution for irrigation. A lot of them are kind of Wi-Fi based, and they're designed for back gardens where, you're going to be able to reach the router. But this was an absolute bargain. Just 20 quid, you get pipe, you get some little dripper kind of stands, little filter there, and some screws. And you get a spike to put it in the ground or a little thing to screw on and hold the unit. What I'm hoping is I can just kind of hook that over the water butt. Like I say, super quick, dirty, simple. And this is the unit itself. It's basically just a solar powered pump with a built-in control unit. Look at that name. Famously loved and trusted brand name in every UK household, that one. But yeah, super cheap, like 20-25 quid. So I'm gonna set it up and we'll see. Now that took me all of about 3 minutes, which is fantastic. The reviews on this were pretty good in terms of the solar capabilities of this. I can just hook it over there into the water butt. Probably not super secure. If you get a really high wind, it's gonna kind of blow about a little bit, but well, probably be okay. Might put a bit of glue down there or maybe get the screws out if I really feel like it. But this is a bit weird. This is like a water level detector. So these two go into the water and I think it kind of like beeps and makes noises if the water level goes down. I've cut the pipe just into 2 lengths. The first is for the inlet. You get a little filter and that then plonks into your reservoir like this. Now it's not particularly, oh okay, I might have made an error there. I've not made it long enough because of I kind of measured it from there. Okay, that's a bit of a pain. So if you're going to do the same thing and just hook it over, do bear in mind that the filter is on the bottom. Could I do it? Oh, I don't know. That's a bit annoying. No, Robin, don't go in the tunnel. You're going to get stuck in there, aren't you? Oh, yep, come on out. It's a good chance that's the one that's nesting in the shed. Anyway, yes, so I've just spun the water butt around because there is a hole which is actually perfect for me to put the inlet in. Now, the inlet is floating. I assume that's by design. I'm not really sure why it does that, but it looks like it is doing that. This is just a bit annoying. I'm not sure about this water level thing. I wonder if maybe it's designed to stop the pump from working and, I don't know, like burning out or trying to work too hard if the water level is completely depleted. I'm not really sure, and I'm not sure how exactly to set this so it's at the right level. It's just kind of dangling around at the moment. I don't know. You know, this is a real idiot with no prior experience just going on the instructions. The instructions are, you know, kind of predictably terrible. They just say install in accordance with the one picture. What the other thing I have added on here is just this little anti-siphon valve. Now, to be completely honest, I'm not 100% sure how this works, but I do know that water can have a habit whenever you're dealing with water butts of just getting completely sucked out of the water butt and going out the other end of the tubing. I haven't cut any of the tubing to size. I'll probably do that another day when it's a bit warmer and I actually need to do it. But let's turn it on and see if it does anything. Obviously, incredibly overcast, rainy day. I don't know if this comes with a little bit of battery in here already pre-charged or what, but there's a few buttons on the bottom, so let's play around, see if they do anything. You simply have an on-off. Oh, it's pumping. I wasn't expecting it to do that straight away. And you have kind of just lights on the bottom that indicate the watering frequency, so how many times a day, and I think how much water, how long it's pumping for. There we have it, water. That is pretty cool, actually. Apparently it does 400 millilitres a minute, which when you divide it up by each dripper, will give you a kind of a rough figure for your bed, I guess. Obviously, I think when you put the actual drippers on as well, they kind of moderate the amount of liquid. I mean, it's not much, that's not much of a flow, but obviously if it's doing that for an hour or two, then you should get a decent bit of watering. It will definitely require a bit of tinkering, a bit of looking at the programming and the settings that are available, but it does work outside of the box, so that's a very good sign. It's just clicked off already. I think that was only on for about 60 seconds, so I'm hoping you can put it on for a good kind of hour or two at a time. It's only, I think, about a 3-watt solar panel, so I have absolutely no context about whether that's powerful or pathetically weak or anything. I did as well buy a kind of second box of drippers and tubing, so if I make any mistakes or anything like that, it should be easy to fix. And just to show you the idea behind these drippers is that the piping actually plugs into the top and then it drips it down and delivers it to the roots, which actually I wasn't expecting. I've not seen drippers that do that. I thought these were normally kind of held above the surface and then above the surface of the soil and then kind of dripped onto the surface. And I thought that would be good because that wet surface on the soil is what would create the humidity and hopefully the slightly cooling effect in here. Nevertheless, it will still be fantastic if I can have some kind of automatic watering with the tomatoes. One thing I am always wary of with these kind of systems is whether or not the amount of pressure will be equalized. You know, if we're starting here, will that dripper get 10 times as much water as the dripper at the end? I predict it probably will, but I don't really know. I've not had much experience with these things. So if you've had experience with this kind of thing, or you've used any other systems which are similar, please do let me know in the comments below. For now, I'm gonna leave this for a few days, let it get a bit of battery power just from the sun before I start tinkering around with it and start thinking about cutting it and getting it all set out, because I still need to do quite a lot of bed prep in here anyway with getting the manure down and that kind of thing. And the tomatoes have got ages to grow before they go in the ground just yet. One thing I do need to do is just get all of this silver growth and fresh new compost out of the rain. Oh, this is heavy. Oh, good Lord. I could really do with a proper like compost storage area, but for now, this little bit of polytunnel does quite nice. I think I just need to shift everything that way a bit. Oh yes, I just wanted to make the point that if you do have compost, really good idea to try and keep it under cover, because a lot of them, like silvergrey, have soluble fertilizer in there. So if it gets waterlogged, all of that fertilizer is going to run out, and then you're going to have some slightly slower crops or things which aren't behaving how you're expecting, you know. Ooh, okay, that's warm work with all these layers. Now, the second job, this is hopefully another quick one. Now, the mission is to rescue the brassicas from the heat. Luckily, we've had two really kind of crap days, to be honest. So super grey, so there's not been any more bolting. But at the moment, all my slightly cooler crops, my brassicas, especially my leeks, that kind of thing, they're in greenhouses or polytunnels, they're undercover. And I need to put them outside, but I can't do that because pigeons or cabbage white butterflies will come and get them. So what I want to do is knock up a quick defense, and the way I'm going to do that, this is once again similar to that water button irrigation system, very rough and ready. But back here on the other side of the polytunnel, I've brought up this cold frame from home. It's pretty rough and ready, pretty raggedy, but it does have just about a working lid. So what I want to do is basically just staple some netting to that, mulch along here with some cardboard just to get this grass down. This comfrey I want to keep. This is such a valuable resource, but it is kind of in the way. And this whole area I've wanted to do something with for a while. You can see it's very neglected, grass everywhere. These gladioli I'm letting flower first and do their thing because they're quite pretty, but then I want to do the same thing here, move this, and maybe there I'll create a cold frame with a polycarbonate lid or something like that. It would just be nice to but just both tidy up these areas, and B, have a bit of a cold frame for adjusting things, hardening them off before planting them out, something I don't really do on the plot very well, and something that's just netted for the slightly cooler loving crops. Unfortunately, it's tipping it down and my camera will not love me if I try and film this, so wish me luck. I'm going to try and do it off camera and show you how it looks. There it is, a lot of room for improvement, but basically that is it. I just want to put some netting across here now. I'm just going to staple it. This frame itself needs a bit of a few, I think just screw a couple of battens in, tidy it up a little bit. It's a pretty temporary thing, but you know, it will do the job. The thing I'm nervous about in here is everything getting eaten by slugs, but you know, at this point it's just do or die really, you know. At the moment they're cooking in the greenhouse as soon as there's sun. Brassicas do not like, you know, the greenhouse is getting to kind of 30, 35, 40 degrees if it's not ventilated enough. So yes, they're going to have a much better chance out here. I've just put the cardboard down as a bit of weed suppression so grass isn't kind of competing with the plants or getting all caught in the netting. Now I'm just going to use some really old, really rubbish, cheap green plastic netting. This stuff, it's seen far too many summers, and this is just the first layer. And like I say, this is pretty rough. Don't want to pull it too tight because this stuff will just snap. It is quite rubbish netting. I got some really good high quality black stuff as well, but I don't want to start hacking that to pieces. It is good with netting or any kind of plastics really, you know, if you can buy high quality, so you don't need to replace it too often. Well, there's a lot more excess there than I was expecting. This entire cold frame is built out of scrap wood, bits of pallet wood and random bits of half rotting frame. This one is shocking. I can't believe it's still together, to be honest. Might be able to, I've got enough excess here to just go on the other side. That'll create a nice double layer. Now I just need to cut the edges off here and we should have some butterfly-proof growing space for brassicas. Oh, look at the French beans as well. Absolutely incredible. But we are here for you, brassicas. One thing I could probably do with is levelling this out a bit because it's not super level, which might have an issue for watering, but that can be done in the future. I'll put some wood chip around the edge as well, just to make it look a little bit prettier, and it'll block off some of the gaps at the bottom so we can't get any ninja butterflies in here. And we've got this big kind of double tray in as well. Really pleased with this. There's quite a lot of space in there, you know, so hopefully this will be a bit of a permanent fixture in the allotment going forward. There it is. Just like that. It's not perfect. There's a few gaps. We will just have to cross our fingers and hope the butterflies do not get in there. Thank you ever so much for watching. An extra special thank you to all of my Chili Pepper tier patrons. Tony, Bill, Pam, Louise, Mel, Michael, Denise, Socks in the Garden, Andrew, Sarah, Dorcasaur, Louise, Angela, Brett, and Andre. It is getting tricky at the end of that. Hopefully I will see you again next time, and hopefully these will still be here.